The First Battle of El Alamein, July 1, 27, 1942. The First Battle of El Alamein was a critical confrontation during World War II that took place in Egypt between July 1 and July 27, 1942. It marked a significant turning point in the North African campaign, though it didn't result in a decisive victory for either side. However, it played a pivotal role in halting the advance of the Axis forces, which was threatening to seize control of the Suez Canal, a strategic point in the region. The First Battle of El Alamein was fought between the German-Italian Panzer Army Africa, known as the Afrika Korps, commanded by the renowned Field Marshal Erwin Rommel, and the British Eighth Army, commanded by General Claude Auchinleck. By the time the battle began, the Axis forces had made significant advances across North Africa. The British had suffered a severe defeat at the hands of Rommel's forces in the Battle of Gazala, leading to the fall of the important port city of Tobruk in June 1942. Following this victory, Rommel's forces pushed east towards Egypt, aiming for the Suez Canal. Auchinleck, realizing the strategic importance of protecting the Suez Canal, organized a defensive position near the town of El Alamein. This location was chosen because the natural geographical barriers, the Qattara Depression to the south and the Mediterranean Sea to the north, funneled the attacking forces into a narrow corridor, limiting their ability to maneuver. Rommel, facing supply line issues and the exhaustion of his forces, launched an attack on July 1st, but the offensive did not result in a breakthrough. The British Eighth Army held its positions, leading to a stalemate. Both sides launched several attacks and counterattacks throughout the month, but neither side was able to gain a significant advantage. While Auchinleck couldn't push back Rommel's forces, he successfully halted their advance, buying precious time for the British to build up their defenses and receive reinforcements. Although the First Battle of El Alamein resulted in a tactical stalemate, it was strategically critical. It marked the first time that the seemingly unstoppable Rommel had been halted in his tracks. This battle was significant in preserving the British position in Egypt, keeping the Suez Canal out of Axis hands, and setting the stage for the Second Battle of El Alamein, which would turn the tide in favor of the Allies in the North African campaign. The Second Battle of El Alamein, October 23, November 4, 1942. The Second Battle of El Alamein, fought between October 23 and November 4, 1942, was a pivotal encounter in the North African campaign during World War II. It was a major offensive launched by the British Commonwealth forces under the command of British General Bernard Montgomery against the German and Italian forces under Field Marshal Erwin Rommel. After the inconclusive First Battle of El Alamein, the British Eighth Army was reorganized under the command of Montgomery, and significant reinforcements were brought in, including new equipment and supplies. The British had superior numbers in both troops and equipment, thanks to improved supply lines and the diversion of Axis resources to the Eastern Front. The Second Battle of El Alamein opened on October 23, 1942, with a large artillery bombardment known as Operation Lightfoot. The initial aim was to clear lanes through the heavily mined front lines for the infantry and tanks to advance. The following days witnessed fierce fighting, with neither side achieving a clear advantage. Montgomery, assessing the situation, decided to change tactics, launching Operation Supercharge on November 2nd. The objective of this renewed offensive was to punch through the Axis defenses with concentrated force. This marked the beginning of the decisive phase of the battle. The intense British attack under Operation Supercharge overwhelmed the Axis defenses, causing a collapse in their lines. With the heavy losses in personnel and equipment, Rommel decided to retreat to avoid total annihilation. This marked a resounding victory for the Allies and a turning point in the North African campaign. The Second Battle of El Alamein was significant as it marked the first major offensive victory over the Axis forces by the Allies. Its conclusion helped lift the morale of the Allies, providing a boost that carried over into subsequent campaigns. The battle essentially ended Axis hopes of controlling North Africa and accessing the oil fields of the Middle East. After El Alamein, the balance of power in North Africa shifted decisively in favor of the Allies, who pursued the retreating Axis forces westward, culminating in their final defeat in Tunisia in May 1943.